Hey guys. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Beat the Maze podcast. It's your girl, Jasia.
EMB.
And we are back here with another episode. You know, we've been doing this consistently, back to back to back. We're seeing you guys' comments. We love that you're interacting with us. So we want to continue building this community and beating our maze. So
Absolutely.
Ian, how have you been this week?
I am doing well. Well, before we start, actually, please don't forget to follow us on the social medias. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok. We over there. Y'all follow us. And please subscribe to the podcast. Leave a rate, comments, reviews. Tell us what you want to hear. And we are going to keep doing this thing for y'all. But to answer your question, I have been doing well.
Why are you bringing the keys?
They were on my lap. So hold on. Before you start, they were on my lap. So I had to move them so you don't hear a bunch of.
But we have key hooks. We have key hooks that he never puts his keys on.
Tell her stop judging me, y'all. I get anxious when I don't have my keys, my phone, or my wallet near me at all times. Only reason I stop freaking out about my wallet is because I be in the gym. I need it.
Anyway.
I need it.
Back to how your week
Besides being harassed about my keys, I am doing great, y'all. I've had a good week. It's been a little stressful, to be honest, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing great. But it's definitely been stressful. I got a lot of family stuff going on, and that has been something that I'm worried about. I'm not worried in the sense that I'm going to lose, but I'm definitely worried in the sense that I don't know if things are going to work out in the way that I want them to work out. And so that has been causing me a lot of stress. It's been causing me to fall off my routines a little bit, and just things are happening. But the key thing is I am deciding that I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not focused on what can go wrong and more focused on what's going to go right, and putting my efforts into the having a favorable outcome. So that's how I've been doing.
I like that. But I like that.
Yeah, because I feel like when you let things just fester and you just think about all the things that can go wrong, and you just worry about, hey, I am going to lose in this situation, or I'm not going to be able to have the best outcome. And, you know, other people, they want the best for you, but also people, I saw something one time and I was like, wow, my mind was blown. And it said, negativity often looks like warning. So people might be trying to warn you, and they're not wrong in any means. And I'm so thankful that I have people in my corner that care about me enough to actually tell me how to navigate some of the things and some of the ways that I could lose. But at the same time, if you always focus, and this is not me talking to the people in case they're listening, I don't want it to anybody to feel some type of way. This is not me saying that they're negative people, but I'm saying for anybody who might be listening, when you only focus on the negative and what can go wrong, and you focus on all the ways that you can lose in this situation, you don't think about the positives. You don't think about all the ways that you're also set up to win, and you don't give your brain the creativeness to figure out a solution that might not be solution 1 or 2, but it might be a combination of solution 1, 2, 3 doesn't work, but advice that somebody gave you might work. So yeah, that's really what's been going on in my week. But I've been talking to my parents a lot about this situation. They've been super duper helpful and just giving me different perspectives, giving me wisdom. And as a young man, we like to think, and the age that we are and the time that we are, and the access that we have to information, especially with the prevalence of social media, we like to think that we know a whole lot, when you might know a lot, but it's also good to talk to people who have lived experience and take in wisdom, because you don't always have to make the same mistakes. And so that was something that has been a huge lesson this week. But besides that, life is good. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to beat my maze another day and continue garnering tools and just have a good time doing it. So, Jay, how you doing?
I definitely I like that you ended that with gratitude. I've been at peace this past week, these past couple of weeks. I've been at peace, in an abnormal amount of peace and comfort, but I feel like spiritually I've reached a new height with myself.
Why did you say an abnormal amount of peace?
Because I've never experienced this level of peace before. Like when we have our conversations, me saying like it is going to happen, like with certainty, and speaking things from a position of we've already done them, they've already come. It's a level of peace that comes over because it's like it's not me just saying it. It's literally me in my relationship with God and that conversation, knowing that it's going to happen and knowing that what's going to happen is going to happen. No matter what. And so it definitely gives me a level of peace. I'm thinking about buying a house, guys. I'm not thinking about buying a house. I'm gonna buy a house, guys. And
gotta drop a bomb on that. Not that type of bomb. Oh my God. Judge Judy, what in the world? No.
Oh my gosh. But yes, I am in the process to begin purchasing a house, which in my head, and I told you, I always figured like when you think about people that buy houses, I thought these people that buy houses just got like stacks on stacks on stacks. But the song came, the song came in my head. Racks on racks on racks.
As y'all gonna come to know, I am not the person to hype you up with that. I support her wholeheartedly.
And be like,
lit.
But yeah, I thought all these people had like all these crazy amounts of money when it came to purchasing a house. And I realized that what people are really having is the interest rate to put down. And then they're paying the mortgage monthly.
Well, the interest rate to put down?
Well, when I say like, I thought you had to have like 6-figure K to purchase a house. And people, especially most people that purchase houses do purchase houses with other people, of course. So yes, both of their salaries and stuff come together for them to have this crazy lump sum of money. But when you boil it all down, I thought when you see a house and it's a $500,000 house, I thought I had to give them $500 when I signed the paperwork for the house. So that was stressful for me when I was thinking about really actualizing the process of buying a house. Because I don't know if you guys are located in Atlanta or if you're located in any major city, but you know the cost of living is insane right now.
Yeah, the cost of living is going up everywhere, not even just in the major cities.
Yeah,
it's going up everywhere.
But specifically in the major cities, it's like to find anything to find what I'm looking for, the cost of living is it's just whoa. So I felt like this last year, and it was kind of like, why continue to pay rent that's not going to anything? Like it's not going to help. It's not an investment for myself. A house is an investment. It's not an investment. I'm just paying a landlord for rent. I still got to do it with neighbors. So you got to deal with neighbors for the house, but like I still got to deal with neighbors. I still got to deal with rules. I still got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff when I can just purchase my own house and accumulate a sense of responsibility over it. And yes, you have more responsibility, but you also have a level of freedom and ownership. And again, back to it's an investment, especially being here in Atlanta, the type of house I'm looking at, it would not be my final resting house. It would be the beginning to my journey, and to have a space here and for it to be growing at the rate that it's growing. Atlanta is on the track to be the next New York. If it isn't already there now with a lot of people that move here.
No, it's not there yet.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, it's definitely on the track too.
You talking population wise?
It's definitely on the track too. So to have a space where I can start really planting that seed here and starting to gain that financial investment and financial growth. But I also say I'm at peace because when I first thought about the idea, okay, I want to purchase a house, I was like, wow, like, yeah, I want to purchase a house. But then it was really like, it hit for a second, like, whoa, I want to purchase a house. Like, can I actually afford to purchase a house? Not only like just putting the down payment down, but can I actually afford to upkeep a house and whatever it goes to, and finding the right house type for me, because a house type isn't just it's not just a home. It could be a loft, it could be a studio, it could be a condo, it could be a triplex, duplex, quadplex, whatever. A house isn't just one specific thing. So you have to find the right house for yourself, whatever you're looking for. For myself personally, yes, I could, the amount that it costs to really get a condo is about the same amount that it costs to get a house. Yes, I could afford that technically. However, do I want to do with the upkeep of my lawn, or do I even want a lawn right now? Personally, I don't. Do I want to?
I like the lawn.
Do I want to do with the upkeep of a lawn? Do I want to have to deal with if the HVAC unit in the home blows, I have to fix that. But if I'm in a condominium, that's the condominium responsibility. Like there's different things that you have to pick and choose what you really want and you don't want. But that's neither here nor there. Going through that process and learning more information, I felt like I was finding the resources that I needed and the information that I needed, which put me at a level of peace, and like I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is gonna be crazy. Rada, rada, rada. I felt like I can do this. It's well within my means to purchase a home right now. I just need to take it at my own pace, to not rush there, to genuinely set in a plan and do it, and to do my budget and reconfigure my budget so that I can save a lot more aggressively. I already save nice now, but to save aggressively with the idea that when we move out of here, I would have purchased a house, or we would only have to live in an apartment in another space for less than 6 months, really less than 4 months. That is my idea, is to purchase a house within the next 4 to 6 months. So it's a piece of knowing that, but I also think I like that you said gratitude, because my friend Faith, when she came to visit, we were talking a lot about like gratitude, and she suggested I start practicing gratitude and that it would help me and how I see life and how I do things. And in the moment I was like, I'd be grateful, but actually sitting, and every time I start all my prayers, I pray every morning, I pray every night. I always start though with, God, thank you for giving me the ability to see, to hear, to breathe out my own lungs, for my organs to pump blood through them naturally, to walk, to taste, and to feel. That I first start with gratitude in those basic things, because as we know, my health stuff I have going on, those things can be taken for granted.
I haven't even
very easily.
Yeah. And I think, just not to cut you off, but I think about gratitude, and I definitely have been on my own gratitude journey. And I didn't even think about those basic things. Like when I was expressing gratitude, I would be like, oh, thank you for the weather. Thank you for waking me up this morning. But even while you're sleeping, to be able to pump air out your own lungs, and for your heart to keep pumping at all times, that's something that we take for granted, and it happens on autopilot. And thankfully, I'm a believer of God, you're a believer of God. God has given us the ability as humans, as I'm not going to say healthy humans, because healthy looks different in different ways, but as humans, to be able to pump blood and breathe air without having to think about it. And I appreciate that you said that.
I did take it for granted a lot. I think, and I have no problem sharing this with our viewers, but I'm currently experiencing some health issues where if things don't go right, I can get left and lose my sight. I like that little. You see what I did with the words there? Comedic relief.
Y'all see how she's so corny. Y'all see how we got there? She's so corny.
On a serious note, though, if my health doesn't improve, I could lose my seeing. It was completely random. It's completely out the blue. There is literally no reason as to why it's happening. It just is happening. And so I've going through this and going through it by myself. Well, not by myself. Obviously, I've had you and my family and the select friends that know. And I guess now you guys, but going through this, it makes me so much appreciative, because the week that I got my medication, and they were just making sure, recalibrating it for me, making sure it was best for me, was like probably one of the shittiest weeks that I've ever experienced in my life. Like everything hurt. And you were here and you were like, I know you don't feel good, but like I didn't have to, there's I don't even know how to adequately explain what it feels like when gravity feels like it's crushing you. And so it was the little things of like, now I'm so thankful that when I wake up in the morning, my face might not tingle. Or when I wake up in the morning, I can touch my fingertips and like feel them. When I wake up in the morning, my eyes don't burn. And like, I'm thankful for those things, because I would rather deal with my face tingling, my fingers tingling, my eyes, the light being too bright, than to not have my sight, or to not be able to hear, or to not be able to feel and see. Like, those are, I always said, and I said, I did a live on my Instagram, and I was like, comedic relief in the moment of like, God, really? Because I always said, if I were to lose anything, I would never want to lose my sight. And I'm like, come on, like, come on. So it's definitely, I feel like it's God's way of telling me to kind of slow down, obviously, of what was going on in my life. But I'm grateful. I'm ever grateful, because I do realize how precious life is, and how precious the little things are, and how your body is one big circle. How the less stress that I take on, the more that I listen to myself, listen to my body, the better that my health becomes, the better that my sight becomes. But yeah, that's my week has been really good. I've been at peace. I've really been at peace. And I've noticed too, within my friend groups and my various friends that reach out to me, that I've always wanted to be the friend or the person in someone's life that they can say they can rely on, that was dependable, that cared about them. And I noticed in these past couple of weeks, more and more of my friends that I actually consider friends of mine have reached out to me on a personal tip, like, hey, I really need care and support right now. And that makes me feel good to know that you see me as that person to be there for you and to help you do that.
Yeah, it's the little things in life.
It is.
It's the little things in life that make life great. And as someone who sometimes suffers from shiny object syndrome, we always get caught up.
We all do, though.
Yeah, but I've been suffering. I've been suffering, but I found that when I pay attention to the little things like you're talking about, it's not the big thing. You always hear people talk about, oh, when I make this money, I'll be good. You always hear, especially you hear entrepreneurs, you hear wealthy entrepreneurs talk about, oh, when I make this money, I'll be good. When I hit this milestone, I'll be set. And then you hit there and you're like, I'm not doing enough. Yeah. We just had a conversation actually about something. You were like, you've worked so hard to get to where you are. And you're like, I feel like I'm not there. I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. When in actuality, you're way where you're supposed to be, one, but you're way farther than where you were a year ago, 2 years ago. And I think we all are.
But that's expressing gratitude to where you're at. So the message of today's video was supposed to be about the recession. So we might have to do a second part and to cover that. But I like where we're going with this and talking about gratitude, because I don't think a lot of people practice and talk about
gratitude is so important,
especially as an entrepreneur or a business owner,
and being grateful for the little things, being grateful that people love your business, being grateful that people leave you positive reviews, being grateful that people click on your page, that you're garnering traffic, being grateful that somebody says, I need in my life what you're selling and I want to get it from you. There's so many, y'all heard the bread drawing so many times. There's so many breads, hot dog buns, hamburger buns, all this stuff in the aisle. And you get your specific bread, and somebody feels that way about your business. Somebody feels that way about your presence. Somebody feels that way about your craft, and they go out of their way to shop with you, to be around you, to talk to you. Those are things that you need to be grateful for. These are things that we need to be grateful for, because I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to us too. We need to be grateful for these things. And with this social media, bro, like I do spurts on and off social media. And I realize when I'm on social media versus when I'm off social media, how much different life is. And it's so important that whether you're on social media or off social media, that you're able to express gratitude and that you're able to be thankful and that you're able to see, okay, at the end of the day, this person or these things that are going on do not affect me as much as I think they do. They only affect me as much as I let it.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. I think expressing gratitude, when I first started, I thought it was silly. I thought not silly to the sense of like to disrespect God, obviously, but I thought it was silly to the sense of like, of course I'm thankful I can breathe. Like, yeah, but like, no, like really think about it. Think about anytime you've been sick and you've had congestion and it was hard to breathe. In those moments, you wish that you can go back to just 2 weeks ago. Like you wish you can go back to breathing natural air. You wish you can have that moment. Think about if you just run, if you do a mile sprint, which is dramatic, but if you do, I know. If you just simply run and you do a sprint, and when you finish, you wish that you were like a moment ago, calm and even breath. Like just those little things of gratitude, but then also gratitude in the space of support will take you miles.
What do you mean by that?
Being thankful, having the support, but support doesn't always look the same. So having the support, but then having the thankfulness of that support, I think will take you miles.
Can you explain it? I still don't get what you mean.
Like understanding that I didn't like using your bread example. All these other breads, we got Wonder Bread, we got Dave's Killer Bread, we got Honey Wheat, we got Sara Lee, all these different breads. And I chose your bread. Being thankful that even if no one else chose your bread today, I chose your bread and expressing gratitude with that. And letting that propel you to continue moving forward. Yeah. Letting that propel you to continue making great business accomplishments and great strides.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that.
Okay. I did not understand what you meant.
I see.
I agree though. And I think to further that point, when you're grateful, one, and you generally love what you do, two, that is so important in your consistency, because we all know, whether you admit it or not, everybody wants to feel appreciated. Everybody wants to feel like they're cared for. Everybody wants to feel like they're important. Everybody wants to feel like they have a purpose. So when
everyone does have a purpose.
Everyone does have a purpose, but you don't feel like you have a purpose. Two different things. Okay. So you want to feel like you have a purpose just as much as you do have a purpose. And even more so, I think you want to feel like you have a purpose that aligns to who you believe you are in life.
I think, how that makes me think of when I told you the other day when I onboarded to what I'm doing now, and I was like, I don't feel extra stressed out. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm at peace. Like I'm genuinely at peace. And I was like, but it's crazy because I'm doing more now than what I was doing before, when I was feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, etc. And so it makes me think back to the gratitude, but definitely your purpose. When you move in your purpose, things become easier. Things become clearer. That's the word. Not even easier. Things become clearer. They're concise. They're more concise. It's a clear-cut path. You don't have to question, especially if you have a belief system and you're able to hold on to that. You don't have to question what is for and what's not for you.
Yeah.
When you're moving in a space of like, this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do, and you're listening before you're speaking, you're hearing before you speak, I think things become clearer and more concise. They become more at peace. So when you have, like, I see these people and I always would see them and be like, dang, like, how is she able to do all these 10 different things and all this stuff? And it's like, she's able to do it because that's her purpose. She serves best in those roles. That's what excites her in the morning. That's what excites her when she goes to bed. That's what excites her to wake up tomorrow morning. That's her thing. That's not my thing, but it's to find your thing and to be the best at your thing.
Yeah.
And when you move in your space, you move in your purpose, and you're doing it with gratitude and thankfulness that you didn't have to be here. It could have been someone else in this position. You respect and truly value what you do so much more. And it's like you see it.
You literally that is such a great point. You can literally see when somebody does or doesn't like what they're doing. And one of my favorite quotes, and I say it every morning when I do my morning success routine, is that human beings always act and feel and perform in accordance with what they believe to be true about themselves and their environment. And that quote to me is so important because nothing in our life is true except what we believe. Your beliefs shape everything. So I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they told me that they have an issue when it comes to learning certain things. And I was like, whoa. Like, let's take a step back. When you believe that you're a slow learner and you tell yourself that you're a slow learner, you are a slow learner. You become a slow learner. And that goes back into that Henry Ford quote that everybody quotes. Whether you say something is true or say something is not, you're right. I don't think that's the exact wording, but that's the gist of the quote. Whether or not you believe that you can be successful or whether or not you believe that you're a failure, you act that way. You literally think that way, you feel that way, and you make actions in accordance with what you believe to be true about yourself. So that's why when you're grateful for things, that gratefulness it gives off a different energy. You think different thoughts when you're grateful for the little things. You make different decisions when you're grateful for the little things because you're not waiting for somebody to validate you. You're already believing what you believe to be true about yourself. And that is that you are important. That is that you are capable. And that is that you are able to achieve whatever you want.
But I'm going to touch on what you said, validation, waiting on someone to validate what you're doing. Because a lot of people do, especially entrepreneurs and business owners.
Especially people in the Gen
when you start something new, you're waiting on someone to validate your idea.
Good job.
And say, okay, go pursue it.
Good job. Keep going. You're like, yes.
And that's where I say self-validation is important, but also more important than self-validation is your spiritual validation. Because now when I am pursuing something, I'm thinking about something, instead of like, oh, I want other people to say, validate me on this idea. Like I come to you and I present the idea all the time. Like, hey, babe, this is what it is. This is what I'm thinking. What's your thoughts? But I don't need you to validate it. I don't need you to tell me, go do it. I'm only asking you because I want to hear someone else's thought process on what I'm thinking. I want to hear someone else pick it apart, tell me the pros and cons based on what they're thinking. But if it is something I put my heart to, my mind to, and I really think is for me, I'm listening to this person. That's the only person I'm listening to. I'm talking to God. That's what I'm pointing at. Sorry, yeah. Well, that's my up. I didn't want to do that.
You was going that way. My fault. Little things. That's me. I'm sorry.
Boink. But I'm listening to God on it. I'm coming to you because I want to hear someone else's opinion. I'll bring it up to my mom because I want to hear her opinion. But when it comes down to who's validating or who's saying, you know what, Jasia, stamp of approval, do it, that's God. That's me praying. That's me in my private time. Like, okay, I've thought over again. It happened with doing it with the house. I've thought over, I've done some research. I'm learning this, I'm learning that. Keep going. I'm hearing your opinion. I gotta call my mom. I'm gonna ask my mom her opinion. But I already know what I want to do. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to buy a house. I know I'm gonna buy a house.
Yeah.
I know that is what I'm supposed to do right now.
Yeah. And to be transparent, that's something that I struggle with. I struggle with having a decision in my head and somebody whose opinion that I might value may have a different opinion. And there are times where I've changed my course of action or I've changed what I'm going to do, or I start second guessing myself because I'm like, oh man, well, they must know something. What if this doesn't work? But is such a great point. If you believe, the worst thing you can do is fail. And when you fail, like we talked about in one of our first episodes, you fail, you get back up again. Sure, that's not just entrepreneurship. That's not just in business. That's real life. That's real life. That's big things.
Entrepreneurship and business is just a microcosm of real life. It's just in a concentrated space. if we're being honest, like entrepreneurship and business, it's not its own entity. It's literally you take life, throw it into a bubble, but throw it into your pockets.
Yeah.
Like
one of the best things about being grateful for all the good and the bad that happens to you. And I say that
that's what I'm working on.
And I say that with a purpose. Being grateful for the good and the bad that happens to you, you learn so much about life. Like when I was baking, and one of the best things that I learned is that people want to feel happy. And that's literally what led me to bake every day. When you eat my brownies, one, I'm vain. I want you to say this is the best brownie I've ever had because I know it is. And I believe it's that. But two, I want you to feel happy. I have a personal saying that you can never be upset while eating ice cream. And I feel the same way about baked goods. When you're eating my sweets, you should never, ever want to feel like I'm just so sad right now. The world should stop. In my head, the world should stop and you should say, everything
good cake.
everything's all right for the moment because I got this brownie and this cupcake. And then you can get back to whatever you're doing. But while you are engaging with my product, you should have some relief. You should have some happiness. You should have some joy. Why? Because you deserve it. And when I fully moved in that space, before I started doubting myself, before different things happened, when I fully moved in that space, it showed in my clientele, it showed in my packaging, it showed in the way that I thought about my brand, everything. And I say that from personal experience because as soon as I started doubting myself, as soon as I stopped being grateful for the little things and people contacted me to purchase sweets and I started getting upset because it was a sad month or, it's about to be summertime and everybody's trying to get summertime fine, I let that discourage me. And it's because I let other people's validation affect me. When in truth, my brownies are just as good as they always been. Yeah. Nothing changed.
That's strength right there. The strength to not only have gratitude in the good things, but in the bad things. Mm-hmm. Because that's where the hard talk comes from. When you can have something negative happen to you, something bad happen, something to be in a situation. And I'll speak for me financially, the situation I was a year ago. When I look back now, I'm so grateful that I was there. But in that moment, I thought God had forgot me and just left me. Like I honestly, I was like, I've been here. I know nothing of it. But you know what happened during that time period? Guess who I met? And you know what was the first thing that he said? What do your finances look like? I can't
be with a woman that got bad money.
And I've never dated a guy who cared to even know about my finances. I never dated a guy who had money to start with. I'll put that up, be honest. And I'm being honest, it's my truth. And I never dated a guy that cared about my finances either, because I always had more money than all the men that I dated. Mm. And I was struggling. And so I feel like when you came in my life, it was kind of like, you're telling me all these things, you had these big vision and this big story, like, then you could do this with your money, you could do this, like, you just gotta get this right. And in my head, which is why I empathize so much for people who think they can't get out their situation, because I felt that. Mm. I felt like all I saw was hands out, grow sisters.
Not the grow sisters.
Give me my money. That's how I felt.
Three of them, like, yo, give me.
Give me my money.
Yo.
That's how I felt. And I was like, meeting you and you were able to show me, like, you do this, you do that. Boundary setting, staying to your goals, sometimes hustling, whatever I gotta be, you gotta just move and you gotta get that money. And hustling legally. I felt like when I said hustling and I said you gotta move and get that money, it just didn't sound right.
I'm not.
We don't promote illegal activities.
We don't promote stealing, especially.
Yes. So I was hustling as a nanny, but it was like in those things you telling me you gotta hustle, you gotta get this money. Come on, like you can't just be at the crib just because you don't feel good. You can't just go brunch out every week because you just got an extra $100 this week. Get your extra $100, pay off a debt. That's extra $100 that you don't owe someone, mm-hmm. and do it again on repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. and meeting you, and to then go through that process and to end up where I'm at now in a completely 180 financial situation. I'm always thankful and grateful and thankful when I look back like, wow, I'm thankful that even when I thought God had forgotten me, he sent you into my life to show me something different. For you to show me something different, to also introduce me to new sources. I would have never known what Social Proof Podcast was, EYL, none of those things. I would have never known what they were. I would have never.
For anybody that's looking for some wisdom, those are great places.
Great podcasts.
Great places.
I would have never known the realisticness of having a budget, because I thought a budget was only for people who made money. I didn't think it was realistic, which I think most people, especially Gen Z, think a budget.
We have to stop. I'm so sorry to cut you off. We have to stop there because that is so important. That's so important. If you don't handle what you have now,
why would you get something more?
Why would anybody give you more? If I gave you that's listening right now, if I gave you $1,000 on my bank account and be like, yo, handle that, and you'd be like, yo, I'm going to brunch, I'm going to the mall, and I'd be like, 2 weeks, a year come by, or not even a year, but 2 weeks, a month go by, and I'm like, yo,
what you do with my money that I gave you?
You like, oh, my money? Yeah, I spent it. Why would I give you more money?
You showed me that you couldn't do it.
Why would I give you more money? You don't think responsibly. You don't have good money management habits. And it's not okay. But if that's where you are, that's nothing to be ashamed of. But you cannot expect to have more and to have abundance when you can't care for what you have. I was reading one of my favorite.
Wait. Say that again.
I gotta get one of my favorite books because I just gotta show y'all on camera.
That was a word, because
I'm not even endorsed.
That goes for any aspect. It's not even just money. It's also like connections, network. People always want you to hit me up with your homie, hook me up with your homie, put me in a room with them. If I can't give you the intern and you still follow through, why the hell would I give you the business manager?
So this book right here, for those of y'all that are watching on YouTube, Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche. This book, I've read a lot of money books in the past since I've started this journey. This book right here, I'm not getting endorsed by y'all. Hopefully one day I get to meet Tiffany, but this book has been a lifesaver. If you want to know how to get your money right, start here. Because it doesn't start with, oh, I just get an extra $10,000 and then I'm good. It starts with, sometimes I got to save $2 a week. Sometimes I got to save $5 a week. But you know what? You're practicing that habit of saving. You're practicing something that is building a foundation so that when you do get an extra $10,000, you say, all right, $5,000, I need to put that away. Why? Because you're already used to saving.
And I'll say, I haven't read that book yet. It's on my book list. But I have read The Richest Man in Babylon, which speaks on the same thing.
Oh, it always same thing. Save that 10%.
That 10%, and that
what you have. 10%, not of what you want. 10% of what you have.
So that means if you're babysitting and all you making is $20 a night for babysitting, put $2 away. It's small, yes, but it adds up. If you're Uber Eating, you're Instacarting, you're DoorDashing, whatever it is, take 10%, put it away. If you're on salary, take 10% of it, put it away.
You don't have to, again, I'm gonna keep saying this, you don't have to wait until you have a whole lot of money. Start where you are.
Anytime you get money in your hand, anytime you make some money, put 10% away first, not after the bills, not after you go shopping, not after anything else. I understand. I'm saying this because I've been there, done it, we've seen it. And look, I understand when you get paid, you have to take care of bills. I'm telling you to put 10% away first. I understand completely. I understand. I have to keep saying it. I understand what it is like to be like, dang, I don't think I had 10%. If you have $10, you have 10%.
Put $1 away. Put it away. Put what you can. It's more about the habit than it is about the actual dollar. And we have time. People always tell you, oh, I don't have time to learn about money. That's a lie. That's a lie. And I know people listening, somebody might have kids, and to be realistic, saving is a luxury. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not. Being able to have enough money to pay your bills and save and take care of yourself for you outside of just necessities is a luxury. On the same ticket, the money that you're spending on eating out every day, take one meal and buy you 2 books, buy you a book, listen to a podcast. Everybody got Apple Music, Spotify Music, or Amazon Prime.
Honestly, if we're gonna be
listen to hold on, because I this is on my heart. Stop telling people you don't have time. Stop telling people you don't have the resource. Stop telling yourself that, because human beings always act and feel and perform in accordance with what they believe to be true about themselves and their environment. So when you believe that you don't have the time, you really don't have the time. Get yourself some education. Get yourself a book. Read 1 book a month. I read 10 pages a day. You know how fast I cleared this book? The last book I just read was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You know how fast I cleared that book reading 10 pages a day, maybe 20 pages a day, 10 in the morning, 10 at night. It's not that hard. But if you keep telling yourself that, oh, I don't have time, if you keep telling yourself, oh, I can't do it, if you keep telling yourself, this is only for people with money, you're going to stay where you are. And it's nothing against you, but you can't say that. My parents used to tell me this all the time back when I was in financial planning. Shout out to, my big brother that gave me the opportunity to work with him. When I was in financial planning, I did not hustle as hard as I could. And you know what? My results show that. My parents would always say, you cannot expect results for work that you did not put in. You cannot expect abundance for work that you did not put in. Jasia can talk her talk because she worked hard. I can talk my talk because I worked hard, and we are still working hard, right? It may look different now because we're in a different situation than when we met.
But that was the goal.
But and now my goal has changed, right? But it's so important. I spent so much time, and I spend so much time educating myself in the areas of self-development, in the areas of wealth, in the areas of speaking, in the areas of communicating, because that is what's important to me. I always think about, when I leave this earth, I want people to say positive things about me. I never want people to say, I just really didn't like that guy. That is a waste of my existence. I don't care what y'all think about yourselves. I'm telling y'all what I think about me. I never want people to say that. And it's not about, oh, don't care about what people say about you, because what people think and say about you get you opportunities. What people say and think about you put money in your pocket. What people say and think about you give you resources. Like that, those things matter. And I went on this rant and I'm about to end it here because I'm so tired of hearing people my age. I'm so tired of hearing people that are older than me say, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I just don't have the time. It grinds my gears. I got more harsh words to say about that than I can even say on camera. But if you're listening to this and you say, oh, I've been thinking about getting this, oh, y'all been talking some real good stuff, one day I want to, no, today's your day.
So
today's your day.
To conclude this out, I want to leave you guys with a backdrop for today. After you just listen to this whole episode, I want you to survey your surroundings. Survey who you hang around, where you hang around, and what they do. And
survey them without judgment. Like, oh, yeah, that can be your friend, but like, what are they doing?
What do they do?
What are they doing? How are they adding value to your life?
What do they talk about? What do they like? What do they care about?
What do you talk about when you're with them?
What do you care about when you're with them? Really pay attention to those things. Think about, out of those things, what will be here 5 years from now? What matters 5 years from now? Not what will be here. What will matter to you and into your development 5 years from now? If there are things that they are talking about in the spaces that you're in, and when I say they, I mean people, places, things. If the things that they're talking about, so that could be, if you listen to the Shade Room every single day, and whatever they talk about in the Shade Room does not add up to where you see your life going, does not add up to your goals, your desires, and your plans, then you need to recalibrate your surroundings. You cannot leave your situation if you are not willing to assess your situation first and to assess where you are at. We talked about this almost every episode. You have to be willing to do a self-assessment. Being wealthy, truly building wealth in your life, truly developing yourself personally comes with what I believe 3 major things: emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, and relationship intelligence. You need to survey all 3 of those. If you are not building in all 3 of those aspects of your life, you will not go into the space that you want to go into. Does it take strength and honesty? Yes. But can you do it? Yes.
Will everybody like it?
No. But that's why you have this community right here. You have people like Ian and Jasia who are rooting you on, who are telling you that you can do it, that we want to see you here too. We want to see you here when we're 10 times where we are at now. I want to walk in the room with millionaires and see you there. I want to say, yo, I know you. You're Beat the Maze community. I want that to be a reality for us.
Because we deserve it.
We deserve it. Everyone that listens to this podcast is between the ages of 18 and 25. 18 and 27. My apologies. We want y'all to win. We're here with you. We're 23. I'm 23. Ian's turning 24 in the next month. We want y'all to win.
Cancer, baby. Shout out to all the cancers worldwide. The world appreciation.
That's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Ian, you have any last words, or is that?
Man, y'all heard my bag drop. Stop telling yourself you can't. It's too late for that. And I know y'all hearing all about this recession. Jasia says all the time, everybody says all the time, millionaires are made in recessions.
Y'all, I want to talk so bad about this recession. That's going to have to be the next episode, because I really want to get into it with y'all, because I can't believe, and I'm going to cut this short because I don't want me to keep going on. But I had a conversation on my live. I go on live about every week. And a guy came on my live and told me, yeah, I mean, I heard about him. Ron, he works in the government. Yeah, he's in the military specifically. Yeah, I heard about it. I mean, like, yeah, I don't really think the recession's going to affect me too much. And I was so freaking baffled. You honestly think living in the military, working for the military, that the recession isn't going to affect you? The recession is going to affect you more than anybody else, most likely.
I have no things about that, so I can't speak on that. But...
Baffled. So, yes, we're going to have a whole episode on that, because realistically, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to prepare our finances so we don't lose our businesses and we don't lose our dreams in this time period, especially if your business has not become your full-time employment.
Thank y'all so much for joining us on this episode of Beat the Maze podcast. As Jasia said, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Beat the Maze podcast. Well, not all social medias, but that is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Jasia, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Jasia Robinson, as well as TikTok and on YouTube. And
you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IanB with 2 underscores, and on TikTok, Ian.B3.
All right. Once again, guys, you continue beating your maze, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Beat the Maze podcast.
See you next time.